Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Gibson Show, and today I am joined by Mirage's BenjiMoola. B Money, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. It's good to get more content out, and I know for you it's a pretty busy time of the year right now. You've got
Yeah.
just a small matter of S.I Quals coming up next week.
Yeah. We're just practicing, preparing, doing everything we can to be the best we can be for it.
So, are you a little bit nervous going forward into S.I Quals? Are you excited? Like, what's the kind of mindset? Because every single one of the four teams, it's in their own hands.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way that we're looking at it. Is just it's not really nerves, just excited, ready to play, and we just want to do everything we can to put us in the best spot to make SI.
Well, look, we'll talk a little bit about the S.I Quals in a little bit. We'll talk about you guys, the other teams going forward, your thoughts about them all before we get there. But I want to talk about your career a little bit first, because it's kind of where we kick things off. So you've been with Mirage now for quite a while. You look through, you've been there since what, 2021, I think, is when you joined. What's it?
Yeah,
Yeah. What's it been like kind of playing in NAL? Obviously up until recently the record hasn't been very good, but then something just clicked in stage 3 last year.
Yeah, I mean there's been a lot of ups and downs being here from the beginning. We started off third place with Hot and Cold, Dream, Nick's Floating, and myself, and it went downhill from there for a while. But we finally turned it around. I think, I mean, the roster kind of just like clicked again. I don't know, I couldn't really tell you the main like issues within the team, but like sometimes stuff just doesn't work. There's sometimes stuff that's out of your control, and we finally got around to making a winning team, even if four and five winning. Like, we could have done a lot better. We trolled a lot of games, but we squeaked into the major. It was a cool experience. Didn't really play how we wanted to, but I mean, international experience is international experience, so it is what it is. And now we go into S.I Quals and try our best.
And you're playing in a region where NA has had a lot of success over the years, but it's always seemed to me to be a region that's always in flux. There's never really been the dominant side. You look at the likes of EU, you look at LATAM, it's always the same 2 or 3 teams. Whereas in NA, every single major we go to, every single stage, it just seems like you've got a different mix of teams coming through. Do you think that is something to do with the competitiveness of NA, or do you think it is just the fact that no team has really clicked and found that magic potion yet?
I feel like it might be a little bit of both. I feel like I wouldn't say the talent pool is like any less deep anywhere else, you know what I mean? But like with NA, it's kind of back and forth. I mean, just the way it is with best of ones and like the format, it's like it gives teams the opportunities to go to these international events, and that's kind of what happened with Mirage. Like, yeah, we didn't have the best of seasons, but we still had the opportunity, and that is what it is. But I mean, I think the main point is just rosters kind of figuring out over time what they want to do and having like the time to get better as a team and evolve, I guess you could say.
And then towards the end of last year, you made 2 additions that I think really had a big impact on the team. Dexter, of course, who had do we want to call it a trial? Like, we had that whole scenario where he played in Gamers 8 and he actually played really well. The game that I think I actually covered, the game that he played, was really impressed by him, but he ended up going with you guys, as did Mo. How have those 2 guys integrated into the team, and like, have they increased the vibes? Did they fit in nicely? Like, tell me more about what it's like for you as an established player welcoming in new people to the team.
Yeah, so with Dexter and Mo, it was kind of like a culture switch from basically like old Mirage, as you could say, to I guess new Mirage with this current team. They kind of just fit personality wise better. We like have a better understanding of the game in terms of player to player, and we're kind of all just like clicking, thinking the same way, and just being on the same page, because that's what it is. It's just like teamwork and the small stuff that really makes the differences.
So this is what I want to ask you more about you. So for people who are maybe in EU or people from other regions who don't watch NAL, why don't you tell everybody how you would describe yourself as a player? Because as I said, you've been in around a while. I've seen you play a couple of different roles, if I'm not wrong. So tell us how you would
Yeah.
describe Beam Money as of right now.
Um, yeah. So I've had a lot of hate in the past for sticking around as long as I have, and I mean, I guess it was warranted. I had some pretty bad stages at one point, but it's just like I think I'm a product of the environment I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
and if the team is in like a spot where we can succeed, I'm gonna play well, and if we're not, I'm not, and that's kind of like how it was. But I feel like I'm a player that can kind of just understand the flow of the game and do what I'm needed to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just always trying to put my team in the best spot to win. So that's what I'm just gonna continue to keep doing and hopefully make SI.
So that's something I want to ask then. You know, you describe yourself as doing what you need to do. A lot of new players coming into competitive gameplay are absolute gunners. You know, a lot of players coming in straight into that kind of entry role. How big of a quality is it to have players like you who will do what you're asked to do what's needed to do? Because every successful team has guys like that.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a huge part of the game. So like you need to have people that can just do whatever's required in the round. It's like, hey, you need to go do this, and it might be out of the way or random, or it's like, oh, I'm gonna die, but it's like it has to be done, and it allows the entries like Dexter to just run in and go crazy or make a play. So if he can get 4 off me dying, that's fine with me.
It's cost. Now they say it's
Yeah.
getting that cost up. So let's then cast our eye to next weekend. SI Quals, we've said it before, it's in your own hands going into it, but you've got 3 good teams that you're going to be playing against. TSM and SSG, both former world champions, both with pretty stable rosters. They're already locked in and ready for the tournament. Then you've got you guys who have the worst kept secret in all of
Yeah.
Siege right now is your 5th. And
Yeah.
you've got Reality TV who lost 2 very good players who've gone up and they'll be playing in SI already. First off, how much of a disadvantage do you think it is for you and Reality TV going into this weekend with new players? Or do you think you could spin it and say it's a positive? You know, you brought in a new player, brings in a new lease of life, and it's harder for TSM and SSG to prepare.
Obviously, most people know who we have,
Mm-hmm.
but I won't say it because
We can't say. You know, it's if
yeah.
anyone wants to know, it's
Yeah. So for us, I'd say it's a bigger positive. We're bringing in someone with a lot of experience who
mm-hmm.
knows the game very well and is one of the best all time, statistically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
No confirmation. For RTV, I would say it's a little bit more of a negative. I mean, we played them and they were a good team, but losing players such as like Gavini and Packard
Mm-hmm.
kind of lowers their roster. I mean, I don't even know if I can call it that because we played them. They were nasty.
Mm-hmm.
We squeaked by. We made some mistakes, but we're getting better. Um, I don't know. I'm not really thinking about any other teams in close quals. I'm just trying to make our team the best that we can and basically just limit the mistakes. And that's kind of the way I think about it. Is just the team who makes the least amount of mistakes is gonna come out on top, and that's the way that I want to go about it. And we'll see how it goes. But
And obviously, you've played against the likes of TSM and SSG a lot of times in your career already, to varying levels of success. I think when you're in a league a long time, you're going to get wins and losses against everybody. It's just the way things go. While you're prepping for this weekend, without actually, I don't want you to say out loud what you see it, but do you see any weaknesses in their side that you can take advantage of, or is there a specific game plan for every team, or is it just you're going to play Mirage Siege?
a little bit of both for sure. I mean, we've obviously done our scouting, so we know what we're up against. So it's a bit of that as well as just kind of not perfecting, but doing the best that we can to make sure everything is up to par and ready to go for the quals.
So then we'll talk a bit about the major now then. So obviously you said you made your way to Sweden. You got to play in the group stages. Obviously, again, things didn't quite go the way you would have wanted, but I don't think you can be disappointed because you made it there. You know, that's the thing, you made it there, other teams didn't, and it's something that you can learn from and grow from. How did you find the experience of flying off to a completely different continent, somewhere, you know, pretty cold at that time of the year, to hang out with other players from around the world and compete for a major title?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It's part of the pro Siege experience that everyone wants to get to, and it was just really cool. I mean, obviously, I've never been out of the country, so going to Sweden is just something new, something I can say that I got to do. Obviously, the games didn't go how we wanted them to.
Mhm.
I think we played better than our record showed, to be honest. We had leads in pretty much every game besides phase,
Mhm.
which is kind of what we expected, but we just couldn't close those games out. And that sucks, but it is what it is. We learned from it.
Yeah.
Hopefully come back better.
Well, you always learn more in defeat than what you're going to learn in a victory, and I think if the way you played, you know, if the results in the major, you can learn from that and take it into SI close quals and qualify for SI from there, you'll say it's all worth it. It's a trade you would make, I'd say, every single day of the week to play for the pinnacle of Siege. So then let's talk a little bit about the teams that are there. So you got the chance to play against FaZe in the major, you got to play against a couple of other very good sides. If you make SI, are there any teams on your kind of wish list that you would love to get a game with? You know, from other regions, you watch their style of play and you think, I'd love to play that player or team.
Obviously, probably just BDS and Liquid for me. Those are like the big two from the other regions that like I'd love to get to play against. Give it our best shot. I mean, I don't know how it would go. We played FaZe and they're like, you know, FaZe from just we got smoked pretty much. So I mean, it's an experience either way. Whatever happens, it's just really cool to play against, you know, Straiko. He's that guy. So love to play against him. Same with Palu and Nesk.
Yeah, they like Palu and Nesk. I don't know if you saw, but after that major, after they lost the BDS, I saw them and I've never seen anybody look more upset in my life. Like, I felt so bad for the guys, and it's one of those surreal experiences, I'd say, because you've got one side of the stage where the guys are going crazy, they're crying tears of joy, and then just 5-6 feet away, you have guys who are dejected. It's the joys, I think, of those competitive head-to-head games. So let's talk a little bit about players then. This is the bit that I love to do, and I think the question I've been asking a lot of the players is twofold. It's, you know, what player do you own? You know, what player's in your back pocket? You just, every time you get a kill, it seems to be the same name that pops up. In NA, is there any player in particular that you just think, yeah, I own them, they're in my back pocket, it's easy?
Trying to think. I haven't lost a sweater.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't plan on it.
And then
he might have 19, 20 kills, but he's losing the game.
Yeah, sure. As long as you get that win, that's all that matters.
Of course.
And then on the other side of the coin, there's always players, I think, that you find will always get the better of you. You're not saying that they're better or worse than you, just for some reason you hate getting into gunfights with them. Who's the one player in NA that you just hate getting into gunfights with?
Gotta be Rexon.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I told him on stage after we lost to him the last stage or whatever, because we're on LAN. It was it's just like when he's powered up, there's no stopping him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. On the Frost 1.5, he's just killing everybody. So gotta be Rexon.
Maybe it won't be as effective now. You saw the patch notes, think they're reducing the damage, so hopefully it'll give the rest of the scene.
Get that gun out of his hands. Who knows?
And I think then looking at the NAL scene, you pointed it already. The talent pool in NA, I think, is as good as all the other regions. And if I was to ask you to make your dream team, so if you had to pick, 4 other guys to play with that aren't on your own side, that you would like to maybe be in a team with at some point, or even just play a couple of games with, who would be your 5 stack?
I would go. So, Newers, Rexon, Bosco, and one more. I need a sledge player. I'm putting hot and cold on the sledge. He was playing the sledge with us. He went like plus 40. So
Newers, Rexon, Bosco, and Houghton.
Yeah,
I like it
for sure.
You know what I love too is every player you talk to has a different team, and it is just due to the fact that there is so much talent, I think, in the region now.
We're all thinking roles and who's playing what. So there's a lot of combinations that could be nasty.
And then looking at SI, the teams that have already qualified, Astralis are already there. You've got Sonics there with their new roster, with Citizen making the international transfer. How do you think NA is set for SI? Do you think we're going to see a third SI in a row won by NA, or do you think it could be a lot tighter this year?
I mean, I really think it could be anybody. Siege is a game where like anybody could beat anybody any day. It's just one thing goes one way. You hit a wall bang, changes the round. Like that's just how Siege is. So anything can happen.
Yeah, and now looking forward to 2023 as well. We've got a new competitive calendar. They've changed the structure of how the leagues are going to go. They've dropped a stage. They've added more regions. Are you excited by what the future holds for Siege? Are you a little bit wary and, you want to see what it looks like in action? Like, what are your thoughts? Because to me, maybe as a caster who doesn't necessarily play at a high level, it seems like they're giving professional players more opportunity to actually have a break. And I think you've seen in the past a lot of players have burned out a little bit. So what are your thoughts on the way it looks?
Yeah, I would definitely agree that they're going more of giving players a break. And I like the opportunity for like non-PL teams to get to those majors. I haven't really even looked at much of the new format. I know what it is, but I'm more just playing the game. So, I mean, for me personally, the more I'm playing, the better. I don't know. I haven't felt a burnout at any point because I love what I do. So, but I'm excited to see what the future holds for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of that, then talk us through a day in the life of a Siege player. So for the likes of yourself, what does a normal day look like?
I mean, for me, I'm not doing much. I'm waking up 10 or 11 a.m. and playing Siege all day. I wish I would say I'm going out to the gym and bettering myself, but I haven't been. So.
And when you're not playing Siege, is there any hobbies you have? Like, what do you do whenever you're not involved in that scene? Because it can be jarring. A lot of players, they find after that 11 hours, they need to do something to decompress. Or is Siege your escape?
I mean, I'll play other games for the most part outside of Siege. Basically anything. I mean, some Call of Duty. I'll play some League, even if it just infuriates me the whole time. Watch some Netflix. I mean, I don't do much. I love playing Siege, so I'll play some ranked, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people definitely want to see you continue playing over the next couple of years, and as Siege evolves and grows, hopefully we can see you continue to adapt to the new play style as well. So I think as we're getting ready to wrap up, last couple of questions is, have you anything you want to say to the Benji lovers or the Benji haters that would be watching ahead of SI?
Any Benji lovers, thank you guys for the support. I appreciate it. I've been here for a while, and I don't care about the haters, so that's it.
Well, there you go. So if you haven't already, guys, please give Benji a follow on all of his socials. Get those. Always good to show some support. You can keep an eye on what he's been getting up to. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And this has been another episode of The Gibson Show. Benji, thanks for joining. It's been a pleasure to talk, and best of luck in SI Quals. I'm sure the best team will go through.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Take care, guys.